Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na. All right, we are live, everybody. There's your music.
Beautiful.
There's your bells and whistles. UFC Vegas 38 has come to an end, and the best friends are back to talk all about it with all of you. We might just turn this into a people's post-fight show too, because there's
Oh yeah.
a lot of different things to discuss. Like what? There's really no format here. We should just go to the peeps. We'll read out the questions just for the listeners of the podcast as it can hear it and understand what the hell is going on here. But I am Mike Heck, along with my best friend Alex K. Lee. And AK, how would you describe the feeling after watching 5 hours and 45 minutes of that card and the way it ended? And I felt like it was it started off good. It started off really good. It was like going to a Red Sox doubleheader, and they win the first game, and then the second game they lose by like 5 runs. That's kind of like what this card felt like to me.
Well, my best friend, I will say, yeah, it started off fine. It looked like it was kind of living up to everything we were saying, that we often say ahead of cards like this. Like, you may not recognize a lot of the names, but the action should be good. And some of these people are future, could be future contenders. We saw that with like Carahosa, Casey O'Neill, Douglas Silva, Andrade. Good to see him back at 135. So it was not only exciting fights, it kind of looked like, again, people who could be contenders or UFC mainstays. Jerry Malarkey also did well. So it was living up to it. And the main card, I mean, I think we all feel a little empty. A little empty. Boy, I'm trying to think outside of that first finish with Hernandez and Breeden. I mean, those last 4 fights were pretty unsatisfying. Price Oliveira wasn't a bad fight at all, just kind of relative to what we were expecting. Holland Dawkins was complete chaos. Certainly something that will be fun to talk about, I think, for a while and on tonight's show, but not a satisfying ending at all. And then, of course, the main event under-delivered, to put it nicely.
Yeah, but you nailed it. So Thiago Santos by decision.
I predicted Santos by decision, but if anyone reads my actual prediction on MMAfighting.com, I said this is going to be exciting. This is going to be a back and forth affair on the preview show. I think on the Q&A or on the preview show, maybe both. I said I think this will be the fight of the night if there is one. I said this will be the fight of the night over Oliveira and Price. So kudos to me, yes, for predicting that it would go to decision. I did see that, but I thought it would be a lot more entertaining.
All right, let's just get right into this thing. We'll go to the peeps. Once the bonuses come in, we'll let you know what those are.
We almost forgot MMA. I'm sorry. I see Nick in the comments. I see you trying to start an MMA chant. I'm sorry. we should have started with that. Okay.
Scotty Alexander Hernandez. Wow. Yeah, that was you go in there, you're expected to win, you're the biggest favorite on the card, but that is what the biggest favorite on the card is supposed to do. Just go out there and just violently annihilate. And that's what he did. Mike Breeden is not a very easy guy to violently annihilate like that, but as soon as he sort of smelled blood, he went after it, and when he knocked the mouthpiece out, that's when the levels got turned up even more so. So great performance from Alexander Hernandez. He's back in the win column.
Should we guess the bonuses quickly before? I guess they're going to be coming up soon.
I think we're gonna have 4 performance bonuses.
Yes, I can't imagine, with respect to anyone who went to decision, so I can't imagine a fight of the night.
If there's a fight of the night, I think it's Gordon Selecki.
Yes, but even then, they have enough exciting finishes. I would think I'd rather see the people who got finishes get bonused up.
I think Hernandez, Casey O'Neill, Jamie Malarkey, and probably Silva probably Andrade.
I think Casey O'Neill doesn't get one, and I think we'll go. No, I think we'll go Hernandez, Malarkey, Silva, Andrade, and Alejandro Perez for the scarf hold. I thought the scarf hold was pretty sweet. So
that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm going with that. But yeah, definitely Silva Andrade's punch that took Gaetano Pereira right off his feet. Alexander Hernandez, of course, big knockout, and then the other 2 are not. Jamie Malarkey, great comeback. So it really just kind of won this up in the air. But yeah, there shouldn't be a fight.
I wonder if Hernandez they just don't give one to Hernandez.
Oh, you know who else? Oh, sorry, no. My other fight of the night, performance tonight, will go to Kyle Dawkins for that amazing first round submission. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, it was overturned. That's I don't know. I don't know if we want to get into that right away, Mike, or.
I mean, we might as well.
It feels like we should, right? I don't know what there's to say about the main event right now.
Yeah, let's just pull up. Let's pull up the question here.
Sure. Okay. If someone's asking, yeah, let's.
I'm sure somebody's asking about
Sure.
it.
Sure.
Uh,
Do you remember if you
just a lot of
tweeted?
talk about the main event right
Do you remember
now.
if you tweeted anything right after, or like, did you tweet a take about the
Yeah, I
Holland
said
Dawkins decision?
yeah, we'll just get right into it. We'll
Okay.
ask questions later.
What
Yeah,
was your take? What was your first tweet take?
100% the right call.
Okay.
I know you do not agree with that, but the reason here's I've seen many media takes. Some I have no issue with. Some I completely disagree with. Comparing it to other weird endings to fights. Like, here's the difference though. Darren Murgliata, although he allowed the fight to continue, okay, and this is what a lot of these media takes are continue to continuously forget. Despite allowing the fight to continue, because Kevin Holland somehow had some energy to defend and move and do all that stuff, Big Dan called for the replay right there and then. He goes, put it on the board. We're looking at this no matter what happens. So he was confused. He's like, I saw Kevin Holland's eyes roll in the back of his head, but all of a sudden he's moving around and trying to defend and do all this crazy stuff. But he had the wherewithal to say, we're looking at this no matter what happens. And that's it. So the fight ends. They go and look at it. That's his decision. It's up to him to make the choice. He chose no contest. I have no problem with it because he called for the replay. Now, had he not done that, and then he's just like, you know what? I think they collided heads. It's a no contest. Then I have an issue with it. But he called right away. He knew he was going to have to look at it. He was a little caught up in the moment. Went back, looked at it, saw the collision of heads. The collision of heads is the reason the finish happened in the first place. No contest. No problem with it.
Yeah, I look. I'm not saying. I think they made a. It's hard to say what is the right call in the situation. I'm not against it. Like I said, I'm not complaining about it. I think it's fine. I think it would have been very. I also tweeted, even though I said I kind of thought Dawkins' win should have stood. I also tweeted like, man, that's a rough break for Kevin Holland because he was clearly not. He was knocked unconscious by like this freak. He was like KO'd.
Yeah,
like his. I do not know how he came back. His eyes rolled back. His body went limp. And fell like he fell in a KO position on the mat. I guess the mat might have woken. Sometimes fighters hit the mat and it brings them back, and just his instincts. But there was no way he was defending intelligently for the rest of the 35, 45 seconds that the fight went on. So that was just crazy. So I don't blame them for there being a little bit of chaos. And also, this is kind of unprecedented. Like you were saying, some people were trying to compare it to other instances in the past. And while I do agree with some of those, there's nothing that's like directly analogous to what we saw. It was very, 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 very confusing. So my argument for it standing is the fact that Murgliata did recognize that the need for a replay in the moment. Why not just pause it then? I know he said he spoke after. He said I saw Kevin respond right away. So I guess he called for the replay, but not a pause in the action because he's like, well, let it play out. Kevin Holland seems to be okay. So my issue there is and again, I know it's difficult, but I think in that moment, he has to make that decision to pause right away. I think if you call for a replay, and again, this shouldn't be open to interpretation. So this isn't his fault. This should be in the rules. If you call for the replay, you pause the action just like you would for an eye poke, groin strike, whatever other infractions we have. That's clearly not made clear to the referees. So he's put in a very tough position. But if he calls for the replay as a commentary, they said he did right away. He was like, yes, we're going to look at that. Pause the action. Let's look at it, regardless of whether Holland recovers or not. Because again, Kyle Dawkins was robbed of a win here. He did what he was supposed to do. He went through with the fight as it was not paused, and he won. And now, if we can go back, I get it. It's great. We should go back and use instant replay as much as we can to make sure we get these right. But it's not like that. My issue is he didn't miss the headbutt. He saw enough of something to want to call for a replay. It's not like he missed it. It's not like he was like, well, I didn't know what happened exactly, so we have to go back. It provided clarity to the situation, yes. But clearly he thought something was wrong and should have called for a pause right there. Again, maybe he thought he wouldn't be able to restart the fight. It's a snap thing. So I'm not coming down to Hard Murgliata. I'm not 100% disagreeing with everyone who says it was like no contest was the right call. But I really feel for Kyle Dawkins a little bit and thought if it had stood, I wouldn't have had a problem with that either. Probably more people would be mad. I think more people would be mad if it had stood, if the decision had stood, that it was a submission win. But I wouldn't have been against it. People
around the world, they want MMA, and me as well, to be taken as seriously as some of the other sports. And sometimes these things happen. Like in the NFL, if there's something that needs to be replayed, if they call it a touchdown on the field, but then they replay it and they're like, if it's challenged or whatever, they can overturn it. They can overturn any score within or any sort of thing within 2 minutes. If they want to look at it, they can. And they can overturn it no matter what the call is. Sometimes when you're in a position, like if a defensive player goes off sides and the offense has like a free play, the defense, their job is just like, well, we're not just going to give them a touchdown. We're going to try to like defend the touchdown, make sure it doesn't happen. And you're just kind of in the same position you are right now. Yeah. Snap call. It is what it is. But the fact that Big Dan said replay, we're looking at this. That's why I don't have an issue with it. I saw one of Aaron Bronstetter, great guy, always has pretty good takes. He compared this to Ed Herman, Mike Rodriguez.
But I see, I like that take.
Why? Was there a replay called?
There should have been.
But there wasn't.
I know.
That's the difference.
But I know there wasn't. Yes.
That's the difference.
But they did ask for like a formal review. Like they did ask the commission for like a formal review. Like they, you know what I mean? Like they wanted there to, it's not the same thing, but it's like there should have been a replay. There could have been a replay in this situation. I didn't mind Brostetter's take on that one. But
yeah, it's just not the same.
It's not the same.
That's the big difference. Dan called for the replay. That's what came out of it.
Yeah. But
there's
definitely a lack of consistency. It feels like there's a lack of, though again, this was kind of unprecedented though. That's why, like, again, I don't want to come down to Murgliata or Herb Dean, who was also there kind of advising him, and everyone else was there. I've never seen this situation exactly like this happen before. So who knows? They may have just set a precedent tonight. This may lead to a very quick, sudden amendment that they need to make to the rules come like Monday morning. That might happen because I just don't know a specific situation like this that's happened before.
So yeah, that was a very interesting part of that was the most interesting thing that happened.
It was
the most interesting thing. It was the most unfortunate thing, but it was the most interesting thing that happened on the card.
And you know what sucks is we really thought this fight would kind of answer a lot of questions for Kevin Holland. We were like, oh, we'll get to see if he's what happens when he takes a step back from fighting top 15 guys. What happens when he has a full camp and he's not like doing these quick turnarounds and has time to work on his wrestling defense. He's got Johnny Hendricks in his corner, and we didn't get to answers to any of that. He stopped one takedown and was really crowing to Daniel Cormier about it. And that's it. We only got to, it looked okay, his takedown defense, but we didn't get to see a full fight. We didn't get to see how he can generate offense with his new skill set. We didn't get to see it. So hopefully they run it back, and we'll just replay our preview comments in the future if this one happens again. But yeah, it sucks for both guys. And same for Kyle Dawkins. Can he beat a higher ranked guy? And it looks like he can, but technically we'll never know because that headbutt changed everything.
It did. Let's talk about Joseph Boza, and his question is Casey O'Neill a monster at women's flyweight? I was impressed with her today. She looked like a badass. Yeah, I mean, for those, if that's the first time you saw Casey O'Neill fight, that's typically how it goes. First round's kind of competitive. She steals momentum towards the stretch of the end of the first round, and then that pace just picks up and gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and you just don't have any answer for it because you think she's going to slow down, and she just gets better. And Antonia Shevchenko learned that the hard way, and she took a beating in that second round. And I mean, you saw her face afterwards. The thing was battered. And Casey O'Neill gets a big win. She passes another test, and I'm super impressed by her, man. And she's about to turn 24? She's 23 right now. I think she's about to turn 24 like next week. Mm-hmm. She's got a super high ceiling right now, man.
Yeah, look, I mean, talk about someone who needs to work on their takedown defense. I mean, not to shift the focus off of Casey O'Neill, but this is kind of how we've seen Antonia Shevchenko lose some of her recent fights. Casey O'Neill, a grappling specialist, as you said, someone with a super high motor. Once she's like a downhill runner. We'll bring up a football analogy again. She's like a downhill runner. Once she gets going, it's like an avalanche. It's real tough to stop. And I thought she fought this fight so well. The first round was a little more even, but she's dealing with someone with a lot more, who's older, with a lot more combat sports experience than she has. There's a lot of traps that Casey O'Neill could have fallen into tonight and lost this fight. Even though on paper, I think she was a favorite and should win this fight. When you're only, like you said, 23, just about to turn 24, and only have, this is her 8th pro fight. A lot can go wrong for you. And she showed really good poise, not getting frustrated, not trying to force anything, but when she had that opening and when she was able to get her game going, not letting her foot off the gas and just going and getting the finish. It was a really great performance. And again, someone I hope is not rushed to a title shot, but someone who I would love to see fight Valentina Shevchenko someday. But like, I'm talking 2 or 3, like 3 fights away minimum.
I'm telling you, man, I know a lot of people are looking at women's 125 right now and they're like, Valentina's just cruising through everybody, but there's another generation of 25ers that are coming up right now. You got Santos, you got O'Neal, you got Erin Blanchfield, you got Miranda Maverick, you got some very interesting
Manon Fiorot, yeah.
And she's the senior of the bunch, but still has a lot left in the tank. There's some good challenges. Not now. I don't see anyone. I think Santos might be the closest one to a title shot.
Yeah, definitely. If the timing can line up just right, though, man, what another run of title defenses Shevchenko could have. But like she's just like the timing's just a little bit off. Like these fighters we just mentioned their experience level is not quite where they're like, again, 2 fights away. They all feel like they're like 3 fights away, 4 fights away. But we'll see. I bet someone's going to end up getting thrown to the wolves next year if Valentina wants to stay busy. We'll see. I think one of these people might get thrown in a little bit earlier than expected.
See, there is kind of a good thing at 25 right now too, because if we think someone is kind of separating themselves from the pack, you got tests. You got you could throw them in there with Chikagi. You could throw them in there with Andrade. And if they pass that test, there you go. Now you could put them into a title fight. Still not saying it's the best idea in the world to just throw them in there with Shevchenko. But if you beat Chikagi and you beat Andrade, you're in. And you probably deserve that shot. So, Joseph, we did discuss that. Again, I think Mike Rodriguez, that was one of the biggest hose jobs ever.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, referee didn't call for replay. The referee sucked in that fight, and
should have.
It is what it is. That's
and
why
now Mike's out of the UFC. Now Mike's out. Who knows how much would be different? I'm not saying he'd be the world champion right now, but who knows? He could have had 2 or 3 more fights if that had gone his way. So
I would agree.
That's a life-changing call.
David Sandine, was it good for Walker experience-wise?
Let me lump this one in as two. Do you see this one that just popped up? Someone wants to know about John Kavanagh's corner advice from Eamon Shields.
Yeah, I think I think you have to sort of combine those two, right?
Let's talk about the anti-Walker's experience. Yes, he was training with SBG Ireland this time. Clearly, there was some sort of philosophical change. I think a lot of people watching were disappointed. He wasn't a little more creative. We saw some of the personality. We saw a lot of the personality. He danced his way in, kind of the way he feints, kind of faking getting hurt, stuff like that. So there was glimpses of that Johnny Walker that we kind of have come to know and love. But he did seem a little more reserved. Now, again, I don't want to blame SBG Ireland completely. I don't want to blame John Kavanagh completely, because when you're fighting someone as skilled as Thiago Santos, I mean, a lot of guys kind of get frozen. John Jones. I mean, the John Jones Thiago Santos fight. Watch that fight again. It wasn't just a close fight. That was kind of a dull fight too. Like John Jones could not figure out how to get offense going against Thiago Santos. No, I think John Jones won that fight, but a lot of people. It was a split call. It was a very close fight. It could have gone either way. And John Jones was probably, I'd say, it's probably one of his worst title fights that John Jones ever had. So it might just be Thiago Santos. Where I will criticize John Kavanagh though is. They were saying he said that Johnny Walker was up going into the 5th round. Did you catch that, Mike?
That was like literally. So I did the live blog for that.
Yes.
So one of the things is like, all right, you score the round previous, but then like write a sentence heading into the 5th. And my sentence was, John Kavanagh just told Johnny Walker he was winning the fight. Not really sure how great that idea is, something to that effect. But like, if he had just said like, dude, we're tied up, you got to go out there and like exclamation point this thing, maybe Johnny comes out differently. Who knows? But Santos landed the biggest shot in the entire fight. And that seemed to, that was it. The pendulum officially swung, and that was a wrap.
Yeah, there's not a lot of controversy in that regard. I think if anyone watches the fight again, most of the best shots were landed by Santos. Walker's doing some good work using his range with leg kicks. You would love to see him like get that jab going. He never got a jab going for a guy who has great reach at 205. Definitely over someone who's sort of a natural middleweight. He should have been able to jab him to death. But we didn't see that. And yeah, I don't know what his team was thinking, telling him he was up. Even if they believed he was up, they have to know that they have to realize they don't know what the judges are thinking. And fight that's that close, and you have to go in saying you got to win this one, give it your all in the fifth, whatever cliches you want to work out, give it 110% in this round, Johnny. But you can't tell him he's up. It's just not good.
Literally every person on planet Earth, even the 3 judges who are never in agreement. There's always one judge that's got to be like too cool for school and score things differently. Yeah. Everybody scored it the exact same way. First round for Walker, 2 and 3 for Santos, 4 for Walker, even Steven going into round 5. Literally everybody, every single person, except for John Kavanaugh. But it is what it is. Maybe Johnny Walker looks at things differently. Same with the Bulldogs. So this is kind of the more interesting part. And I think this is what kind of threw people off. Didn't it look like the refs were making up the rules as they went along after the head clash? And it was pretty funny where they're all like standing together. Even Sean Shelby in his Rock 1997 shirt walked into the mix as well. But that's the beauty of Big Dan calling for the replay, because no one knows what the hell is going on, because it's never happened. Like, we haven't seen anything really like that before. Where like you call for it, all this craziness happens, there's a finish, and now you have to go back and sort of figure it all out. But that was why I thought Big Dan calling for the replay was super smart at the time. It was just like, okay, now we can try to like work this thing out. And it took like 18 people, and then finally it was left at like, Dan, ultimately it's up to you. And then like even the broadcast is like, all right, so it seems like this is going to go down as a win for Kyle Dawkins. Here, let's go. Let's hear Bruce Buffer announce the winner, Kyle Dawkins. And then it turns into no contest. Even the commentators had no idea what the hell was going on. So definitely made it a little more interesting. But yes, I would say, I don't know if they were making up the rules, but I think they're all like, what do we do? What do we do?
I was amazed that they kind of like got right in there during that post, stoppage powwow, and gave us all the audio, because both Dan Miragliotta's mic'd up, Herb Dean's mic'd up. So it was funny. Brendan Fitzgerald kind of pointed out like Herb Dean was trying to whisper, but he was still mic'd up. And I think either he realized it or they cut off his audio for him, but then it came back. So we heard enough to hear him advising Dan Miragliotta, saying, you can call for a no contest here. That's up to you. And I'll be honest, again, I don't know whether he was citing the rules or whether he was trying to, as the question suggested, was he kind of making this up on the fly and telling Big Dan maybe the best way to handle the situation? Yeah, I don't know. It was cool to get that glimpse. I don't know of how much clarity it provided us, but it was some good inside baseball stuff, though.
Yes. Where are we at? See, sometimes with this program, like you have a question in line and then like a whole bunch comes in, it just skips it to the bottom. All right. So if I skipped over yours, I apologize. I've never seen a stop in action with replay. Has that ever happened? Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't remember the last time like we've seen anything quite like that.
Yeah, like a mid-fight pause. That's why it's so, like I was saying, it's so unprecedented. And I don't know. I should say maybe Dan was just following replay procedure. The referee can the referee can pause and stop a fight at any time. So obviously he could have called for the replay and called for pause in the action if he wanted to. Would that have been the right thing to do? I don't know. Again, that's what I wish had happened. I'm sure that's what Dan Miragliotta wishes had happened. Now we can't go back in time, so we can't fix that. But hopefully in the future there'll be more something they'll go over in that kind of training.
Kai Roach. I mean, what about this for an idea? Give Dawkins a win and give Holland no contest.
Sure, isn't it? I would just say give Dawkins a check. How about that? Give him his money. Maybe don't give him a win. Give him his money. If we'll see how Dana White and the officials feel about it. But it was, again, kind of a win that happened. It just feels strange not to give him his win bonus for that.
Crute versus Walker would make even more sense, but now Hill versus Crute would be a banger. Totally agree with the no contest call. Really glad they arrived at that conclusion. I do feel better for Kyle, though.
Yeah, I think we all sympathize with Kyle. I don't think 100%. Anyone's saying, yeah. I think everyone sympathized with Kyle Dawkins.
Kevin Holland's wrestling did look improved.
Yeah. I mean, enough to stop the initial takedown. He showed the hips. He showed some good hips when he's getting kind of dragged around. He
got back up and then got headbutted, or was part of a collision of heads. Monarchy beat that man down. Bad body. Yeah, that was a great comeback. Devontae Smith is a really talented guy. So good win for him. Review is a good thing for the evolution of the sport.
I agree. Yes, but they do have to, like I said, really start pinning these things down. Because even when we've seen replay used correctly in the past, we've had people asking like, "How is this? Was this the same as it was used last time?" So I don't know. Maybe we just need to see it more. But
DC was thrown up by Kevin talking.
That was awkward. That was awkward. Again, Mike, I don't know. You know me. I've said it before. I'm not a fan of all the in-cage chatter. I don't know. What did you think of his in-cage performance, talking-wise tonight?
I mean, it is what it is.
He didn't get taken down, you know. So it's not
There's
like
no foul on Herman Rodriguez. I mean, there should have been.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, there was
it
no
wasn't
official
called.
foul.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
No foul. Yeah.
That's what the big difference is. It just wasn't called in the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, no phony. But again, that would have been a good time to look at replay for phony baloney.
We're still waiting on that. Yeah,
we're still waiting. Oh, wait, we got him.
We got him. All right,
we got him. Thank you. Perfect timing, Louis CC. 4 performance bonuses. Casey O'Neill got one.
Casey O'Neill did get one.
She did get one.
Interesting.
Alexander Hernandez did not get one.
Did not get. Oh, you know who would like that? Casey Leiden.
Yeah, I mean, he's the biggest favorite in the card. That's why I feel he might not get it. Alejandro Perez did get one.
Oh, nice, good. Gotta go give some submission love, please.
Douglas Silva de Andrade got one.
Easy pick, yeah.
Jamie Malarkey also got one, and well deserved.
You were trying to swerve me there and say
I was trying to Ryan Seacrest you.
Stephanie Egger, you're going to say Stephanie Egger got one instead of Malarkey. That was kind of a funny stoppage.
Yeah, that was a weird stoppage.
Yeah, I think Hernandez, like, it's not his fault his opponent got switched. He should have gotten a bonus, but I'm happy Perez got one. Casey O'Neill was great, so, you know, can't begrudge it. So for me, it would have been Hernandez instead of O'Neill, but I'm not gonna fault them there. And if Casey were here, he would say, like, yeah, I mean, Hernandez did what he was expected to do. Like you said, Mike, the biggest favorite on the card. How can we give someone extra 50 G's for taking out someone on less than a week's notice who's way lower, you know, making their UFC debut? So it's fine. I would have given him the bonus, but I think UFC did just fine here with their choices.
Am I the only one that thinks Kyle would have won that fight eventually anyway? I mean, listen, I thought it was going to come down to the very end, and it was going to be like a very close split decision anyway. So
I picked Holland. I thought Holland was going to, but I picked Holland. I picked Holland against Brunson and Vettori. So everyone take that with the biggest grain of salt.
Blake A, they've had Casey on the prelims 3 times in a row. Time to get a main card spot on a fight night. Yeah, it's time to get that division on a main card on a fight night, right? Like, we never see them. We never see, even it's like top 10 matches between 2 women in the top 10. They're on the prelims. Always.
Yeah, and isn't this what fight nights are for? Aren't fight nights for kind of expanding to a different audience, like not the pay-per-view buying public who might not know who these people are, who might be like, oh, why are flyweights on the, you know, fight nights are so controlled by the UFC and ESPN and ESPN, ESPN Plus. They don't care like what I shouldn't say they don't care, but you can play around a little bit more with a fight night card, I think.
Who does Santos get next? Perfect time to plug on to the next one.
Yes,
which you will hear tomorrow. Subscribe on wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. That program will drop sometime tomorrow morning. AK-Net will bounce back, and we'll do some matchmaking for Thiago Santos, all the winners of the main card, and we will have our wild card pick if you have not listened to the program. Casey O'Neill must be extremely strong compared to a lot of the flyweights, and how she has great control, which makes good fighters look. Her pace is just insane.
Pace, control, patience. Those are big things for a grappler. Those are what we see in the best grapplers, in the George St. Pierre's, and the Khabib Nurmagomedovs, and the, I don't know, whoever names you want to throw out there. Patience, control. The next thing I think we'll have to see is how well she can take a hit. I haven't seen a lot of her pre-UFC stuff, but she's been doing a pretty good job of trucking her competition in the UFC so far. So there's that getting over adversity hump. Like I said, I thought she did some of that in the first round, though, but not like she hasn't faced like extreme adversity in a fight yet. So we'll see how that she overcomes that. But so far, everything's, you know, passed every test. So
does Anthony Shevchenko get cut after this fight?
Nah, not yet.
I don't think she will. Nah. Not in this division. I think this division is about as safe as you can get for a little while, because just not a lot of. There's some really good up and coming talent, but there's not a very deep division. And if there's more, like when Aaron Blanchfield wins like another fight or two, you fight Anthony Shevchenko. That's like kind of the next step.
Oh, I wanted to address someone. Someone DM'd me, Timmy Osho, DM'd me asking what was up with the Douglas Silva de Andrade's sock, because it was a little. I don't know if you saw that, Mike. He got the big knockout and he had a sock with him. And Dan Cormier kind of tried to ask about it. Dan Cormier was like, "What is up with the sock?" But I think something was lost in translation and they couldn't quite answer properly on air. Of course, you know who's on the beat. Our own Guilherme Cruz. Right away, I DM the man. I say, "What's up with the sock?" And he didn't know right away. but within like 2 minutes, he comes back with an answer. So Douglas Silva de Andrade has a little girl coming up soon. So another Brazilian fighter on the card, but to add another child to the family. So the sock was for his incoming daughter. So that's another reason why he was so emotional, I think, with the win.
Yes. My shiny head is beaming into eyes. I apologize. Listen.
No, stop. Don't apologize. Don't apologize.
Shame dome today, you know?
You've been blessed. You've been blessed by that. All right.
No, I have not been blessed by that, but
you've been blessed, you've been blessed, and our viewer has been blessed.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Hopefully, you're wearing sunglasses, people. We talked about Kavanaugh's quarter advice. UFC pay-per-view in October, which isn't even really a pay-per-view. It's an ESPN Plus per-view.
Like, it is in Canada. It is in Canada.
Oh, sucks, dude.
So any of my Canadian homies watching, guess what? Don't get excited over that thing. I was like, oh, 2 pay-per-views.
It's on TSN. They're not going to throw it on TSN.
It's not. This one is not on TSN. This one actually is this is the one time we're really getting screwed. This one is a pay-per-view in Canada. So yes, for my Canadian homies wondering, how do we watch this supposedly, you only need ESPN. We don't have ESPN Plus in Canada, Mike. So we are not getting this free on TSN. Canadians, this will cost us. What's a pay-per-view cost in the US, Mike? Like $69.99 USD.
$70.
That's like $380 Canadian. So guys, I hope you weren't planning on some of your kids going to college, because if you want to watch this guess what? We actually have to pay for this pay-per-view. So
Canada getting Kyle Dawkist on
Big
October
time.
30th.
Big time.
Ireland neutered Johnny Walker. Okay. Oh boy.
Like I said, we can take cracks at SBG Ireland all day, and their relative lack of success they've had beyond of creating superstars beyond Conor McGregor. But let's also give Thiago Santos credit. Very difficult guy to fight. I don't know if there's anyone who's had kind of like, what's the last time he had like a super actually, you know what, the Glover Teixeira fight was pretty exciting for at first.
Yeah,
I should say that was a pretty exciting fight.
That fight was crazy.
But this fight wasn't great. The Alexander Rakic fight wasn't great.
Oh,
the John Jones fight, I still think, again, I know people kind of look back on it fondly because it's like, oh, he beat him. That fight's bad. I've watched that fight multiple times for various reasons. That's a bad fight. It's not a good fight.
The only worrying thing is Casey's stand-up could be her problem if someone can stop the takedown.
Of course.
She's 23. She's still a little green. She's at Extreme Couture, so that striking's only going to get better. But again, she hasn't really needed to do anything. And I was talking to E. Spencer Kite on Twitter because he was like, Casey needs to slow down a little bit. And I'm like, slow down is not in her vocabulary. She does not slow down. She just gets after it. And she just gets after it more and more as the fight progresses. I'm telling you, go back and watch like some of her older fights. She is such a savage. And to see her doing this at this level is pretty wild.
Yeah, motor can take you a long way in MMA. Motor can take you a long way.
Carol Hosa beat Bethe Correia. How shocked were you guys? It was 30-27 times 2, but one judge had it 30-26. That was a beatdown.
I guess the question is, like, do we think it should have been like all 30-26s across the board, or were we shocked that there was a 30?
Yeah, I'm definitely not really sure.
I think the second round easily could have been scored a 10-8. I don't think I did, but I could see the reasoning behind 10-8. It was quite ugly. Oh, you can read this one, Mike. Oh, I thought you wanted to read that.
Johnny Walker fight looked like a rigged touch butt fight trying to go to the judges for that plus 850. Never seen a man smile so much after a pitiful performance and loss. Johnny just can't get going, man. Like, he just faints and like, I mean, he just could not get going.
I'm still a believer. I like I said, I think Thiago Santos is really tough to fight. I think he's really for anyone who's thinking, oh, Walker just going there throwing spinning stuff and capoeira kicks and just rushing him. Like, that's how you get killed by Thiago Santos. Watch like Thiago Santos's highlight, like when he does have a highlight reel knockout, it's when people make a mistake. And that's something Johnny Walker didn't want to do. He didn't do enough. He clearly didn't do enough to win the fight. So that sucks. But I mean, anyone saying he kind of judging that his level of aggressiveness, that's some backseat like fighting right there. I don't think we can say that.
Could this card have used Aspen versus Macy, a shot the women's bantamweight championship? Yeah, but I mean, still, we would have been left with the no contest anyways, and we would have been left with the main event. So even if those two went out there and just beat the brakes off each other and it was like a tremendous fight, like we're still left with what happened in those last two fights. So I don't think it does much. Might give it a little bit of a boost, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what else.
Let's hope there's a quick turnaround for Macy, and let's just move on from the Aspen Ladd fight. Aspen Ladd's got some stuff to work on. I know she said there was obvious reasons for why this cut was more difficult than it has been in the past, but this is her third notable time really we're well aware of how bad the struggle was, and that seems like something that's fixable, not something that just like, oh, it just keeps happening and we're just bad luck. No, this seems like something that's fixable or has to be changed.
Joseph Bellotti, not impressed with Casey O'Neill. Guess there's always one, AK. There's always one.
Are there any big storylines we are missing out on here? Bethe Correia, no one's asking. Can we talk about Bethe Correia?
Sure, AK.
This is her last UFC fight, as far as we know. Possibly her last fight ever. I know I know everyone in the media and all the fans are like, well, obviously she's going to go do bare knuckle or she's going to do celebrity boxing. Either way, I don't see a lot of people thinking that this is her last fight ever. She could fight in MMA again for all we know, just not in the UFC, right? Like, I get it. It is a classic MMA retirement. I do think we'll see her again, but this is the end of. I do think this is the end of her run in the UFC. I don't think she's done, and I think our pal Mark Ramondi said it best. Like, I don't know if there's a fighter who maximized their talent as much as she did, because she's not the most talented 135er. She's not the most athletic 135er. She's not the strongest one, not the fastest. Okay. She's not any of those things. She's not the best striker at 135, but she caught on a good gimmick with taking out, Ronda Rousey's teammates early on, Shayna Baszler and Jessamine Duke, and then parlaying that into a title fight. One of the biggest title fights in UFC history at the time, as far as pay-per-view buys, against Ronda Rousey. Now, a lot of that's the Rousey side, but Bethe Correia was a really good foil, and she stuck around for long after that. Because how long ago was that Rousey fight? That Rousey fight was
2015,
UFC 190.
The longest main card in history.
900.
Oh my God.
7 main card fights. 900,000 pay-per-view buys. So again, obviously mostly Rousey, one of the all-time great A sides in MMA, but for Bethe to put herself in that position is pretty amazing. So, and for her to hang around long after, despite not having the most success, she won 2 fights after that in the past 6 years. So God bless her for being, I don't know what people want to call her, an overachiever, hustler. But in this business, you're just trying to stick around as long as you can, doing what you love and getting paid for it. And she seemed to always have fun. She was super emotional tonight. And again, it's true. I know we'll see her probably in some other realm of combat sports or for another MMA promotion, but I'm going to give a little clap for what she's done so far. And if this is the last we see of her, happy trails to Bethe Correia. We'll probably talk about it a little more and on to the next one, or new on to the next one segment.
Even after she missed weight, AK, I didn't think she'd get this send off from you.
Wait, Schmate. This is true. Yeah, I'll be honest. That was going to be, that was, I covered the weigh-ins. That was my headline for the weigh-ins at first was, Bethe Correia misses weight for a retirement fight. It's a great headline to get people to read the post. And then all the stuff with Aspen Ladd happened and just like almost completely forgot that the Bethe Correia weight miss happened at all.
So AK takes back everything you said because she missed weight. Selecki disappointed me against the Flash. Maybe I thought too highly from him. I wouldn't say he was disappointing.
Jared Gordon's good.
Yeah. Jared's a gamer, man. He is gritty as hell. And getting out of not many people get out of those positions with Joe Selecki. When he has your back like that, it's usually a wrap. And that might have been the first time in a long time that Joe had to experience that. And Joe's still very young and he's getting better. So this is probably a really good thing for him to fight a guy like Jared. I thought this is terrific matchmaking. Both guys needed the test of one another. Jared gets over it, and then Jared uses his mic time perfectly. He calls out Paddy Pimblett. Love it. I think That's a great call on his part, and I think that's a fight he could probably get. But I got to be honest, man. If I'm Paddy Pimblett, I ain't taking that fight. I am not fighting Jared Gordon if I'm him, but that's just my opinion.
But yeah. Again, we always try to emphasize the positive more than the negative. So I wouldn't be disappointed in Selecki. He I think pretty clearly won the first round. And I know he beat Jim Miller last time, so it's kind of like, he already beat a really experienced guy, someone more experienced than Jared Gordon. So why was this a letdown? It's like, no, it's like, look, once you get to this level and you're fighting veteran guys, they're going to be tough fights. Jared Gordon is tough. I'm not saying Jared Gordon's a world beater or like even like a top. I don't know if I have him in my top 20, but as you mentioned, Mike, Joe Selecki is still developing. This was his 4th UFC fight, just his 14th pro bout. And Jared Gordon has a bit more experience, and that experience matters, and that's why this was a competitive fight that Jared Gordon pulled out. But I don't think that says anything poorly about Joe Selecki's skills or his future at all.
Yeah, Joe's a good fighter. They're both CFFC alum, so very interesting matchup. I hate like throwing this type of question out there, but I think it is worth discussing. Was this the most, I'm not going to say boring, was this the most lackluster main event of the year, at least to your memory, AK?
Disappointing was probably a stronger word. Again, people know my memory is terrible. I can't remember. I can't remember fights that happened yesterday. I can't remember fights that happened 4 hours ago. But no, I don't know. Nothing's really coming to mind. I guess I'm gonna look at the comments. Guys, I'm gonna rip off your ideas if you want to throw some comments out there about which fights were more boring. But definitely disappointing. I think people were either hoping for a highlight reel knockout either way, or again, even myself, like I said, I thought it would go the distance, but thought it would be way more. That way more would happen. I thought there was a good style matchup, but maybe there was too much respect, or maybe, as I said, Thiago Santos is just this really difficult puzzle to solve, and clearly Johnny Walker just doesn't have that arsenal yet, if ever. So I'll go disappointing. The most boring, again, like I said, I'd have to think back to some of the other events that have gone down, but yeah, we were expecting a lot.
What about Gane versus Jairzinho Rosenstrike? That was pretty bad.
But I think it was less disappointing. I think I know a lot of people ahead of that were saying like this could be boring. I'm a lot of people said it could be boring. If it doesn't get finished in the first round, it's like, or even if it does get finished, it'll be like a boring fight up until someone catches someone with a shot and like knocks them out. And unfortunately that knockout shot never came. But yeah, I definitely see the Gane Rosenstruck thought there.
Yeah, that was a bad one. I'm trying to think what else. Nothing else is really like.
And I don't see guys.
That's probably the most disappointing.
Bad main events, guys. Throw them out there. Let us steal your ideas.
Cannon Gastelum was good. Brunson Till was good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all fine. That might have been.
Tristan Gordet wants to know, our pal Tristan Gordet, who, by the way, we'll be talking about more on to the next one tomorrow. Our pal Tristan Gordet wants to know, Jamie Malarkey on the cusp of being I'm glad he's still here. Tristan, we're glad to have you. Is Jamie Malarkey on the cusp of being in the top 15? How many more fights does he need? How has our boy Jamie been doing?
I mean, he's 2-1.
2-1 so far in the UFC with wins over Kama Worthy and 2-2 now. Kama Worthy and Devontae Smith. So so he went up against two finishers. Took their best. Well, I mean, Kama Worthy he just smoked, but Devontae Smith took his best, came back. He's definitely not near the top. I think you guys got to remember how deep is lightweight, right?
It's 55, yeah.
Yeah, guys, lightweight is so deep. It's real. Like I said Jared Gordon's been around way longer than him. And has some big wins. Joe Selecki was 3-0 with a win over Jim Miller before tonight, and neither guy, I think I wouldn't have had a guy in my top 30. So, and that's just how many good fighters there still are. Some people might disagree. Some people might shake up their rankings a little more aggressively than I would, but I wouldn't. So, is he on the cusp? No. Again, probably, like I said, probably somewhere in the top 30. I don't know, Mike. What do you think? Actually, let me drop my rankings here and give him an even more direct answer. What do you think, Mike?
I'd say 35, 36-ish, probably with that win. I mean, just look at the guys at 55 right now. Zaitar just won 3 in a row. Selecki was there. Marco Madsen's there. I don't think he's above like Holt. I mean, he's probably maybe near Holtzman now. Bobby Green,
Thiago
Santos, Vince Pichel. Like Grant Dawson's not ranked.
Mm-hmm.
I think Grant Dawson is better than a lot of these guys. Ricky Glenn. I mean, Vince Pichel is not even ranked, and that dude's a monster. Kutateladze, Hernandez, Moises, Ismagulov, Fazeev. Like, I mean, 55's your donk. It's ridiculous. It's got to be a while. He probably needs like 2 to 3 more wins easy. Nasrat Haqparast is at 55 still.
Yeah, this isn't going to move him much in mind. I've got Malarkey right now at like 51. And before people say that sounds crazy, like, I mean, would you put him above, I don't know, Faris Ziam, Claudio Puelles, Damir Hadzovic? There's just Joel Alvarez, and again, all the guys you just named. So once you start writing down, Mike Davis. Once you start writing down all the names, you realize like how crazy guys who've been around longer. John Makdessi, Would you put him above like Clay Guida? I don't know. Props. So most people probably would, but I still keep a lot of these guys, kind of these older guys up there. Jim Miller, I still keep up there. So again, it really depends how aggressive you are with moving the younger guys up. But even if you're the most aggressive, I think it's Mike. We're around your spot. You said maybe somewhere around 35, right?
Yeah, 35, 36, and that's probably good.
But let me tell you, he's going to be fun to watch for a long time. Jay Malarkey is appointment viewing. If he never becomes a top 15 guy, who gives a crap? Because that dude, you match him up with like anybody at 55, oh man, you're going to get an exciting fight. Malarkey's so much fun.
Next for Hernandez. Let's know into the next one, but I feel like he's got the right idea.
Oh, yeah, just run it back. So run back the original rebooking with Leonardo Santos. Yeah.
I think Walker's gotten worse since going to SPG.
People seem to think so.
What else we got? I don't know. A lot of the same questions. No Malarkey.
I was gonna say, I think we've covered all the bases here. I don't know if you want to talk about this feels so long ago now compared to the Holland Dawkins controversy, the Stephanie Egger finish. I didn't think it was the worst thing, the Stephanie Egger stoppage, Shanna Young.
No, I don't have an issue with it.
No, like I said, I think Mark Smith's a pretty good. Yeah, I think Mark Smith's a pretty good referee. I do think it was definitely early. I will say, definitely early, which doesn't mean terrible, but early means early. And I think it was the textbook definition of early. I think this sounds cruel. I think Shanna Young could have taken a few more shots before getting waved off. Did she need to? Maybe not. Maybe we'd all seen enough. I don't know if she was really getting out of that position, but she did look like she was fighting back. So I think that one could have gone on, but clearly not the controversy of the night after what happened in the co-main event.
Someone's saying I skipped their question.
Spam it.
Tell me what it is.
Yeah,
I told you. With this system, sometimes like
saying we skipped your question isn't helping you. Just spam it.
Yeah, throw it back up there.
We're not going to go back up and look for it.
I'll keep an eye.
Go ahead. I'll keep an eye out for this.
I'm just throwing everything up there.
Yeah. Throw it up. Throw it all up there within reason.
All his power is pretty much gone in the championship rounds. It's funny because if we were talking about Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's only had 2 fights, deserves to fight a top 15 guy. I just think that's pretty funny.
Oh, that's different. He beat Oliveira, who's way higher ranked than like a Devontae Smith. Way higher ranked than Devontae Smith.
Yeah. And finished him and destroyed him. And this is that was a welterweight, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Look at who they've beaten, guys.
Welterweight's not as deep as 55 is.
Yeah.
55 is way
that's right. We're not even talking about the same weight class.
Yeah, 55 is way deeper than welterweight. Welterweight's very top heavy, and it's very interesting up there. But lightweight and bantamweight, super duper deep.
Anonymous dude 123 is like, can I spam my question? Yes, you can spam your question, but his question is UFC 267 and 268. Rose Namajunas. He just listed the fights from those cards. I don't see a question. Is there a question in there? Guys, there has to be a question.
You can't just say don't skip my question and then just,
yes.
Stupid Jones Diaz like zombie, fun to watch him fight. Oh, Strickland, yeah. All right. Anything else? All right. I'm going to the bottom for the spammers. Let's get some
Vanessa
spammers.
Flair is asking, where'd that question go? Did it delete their question? Thank you. Is Yuri versus Rakic the number one? Well, I mean, again, ideally Yuri is just Yuri's I shouldn't say ideally. We don't want. I'm sorry. I know that was the wrong thing to say. We don't want the fight to fall through. Of course, we want to see Glover Teixeira and Jan Blachowicz fight one another. So I think ideally what I mean is Yuri gets paid win and show money for even taking that, and then ends up in a number one contender fight.
No, Yuri should fight the winner. Yuri's the number one.
Whoa! I don't know if I agree with that.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I am not on the Yuri Prochazka Big Tuna bandwagon that all the rest of MMA fighting is on. Why?
You're absolutely insane.
Why? He's 2-0. What is he? Was he 2-0?
Yeah, but look who he beat.
Plus, I guess he's on a 18 fight win streak or something.
By the way,
in fairness, I shouldn't discount the work he's done before the UFC. He is on like a 13, 14 fight win streak, something, and it's like 12 finishes. So, okay, my reaction may have been a little rash, but I have no problem with him making him fight again, as long as he gets paid for this win and show for this reserve spot.
Because this fight between Blachowicz and Teixeira was supposed to happen when? Over the summer, right? And then there's a COVID thing?
Mm-hmm.
Or was that... Oh, no. Nope, I'm wrong. Or maybe it was booked before. I don't remember. But it took a while to book this fight. And we can't blame Yuri Prochazka for that. And, yeah, he's next, I think. I mean, if he wants to take another fight, he can. But I don't think he needs to. That's just my opinion. We'll see. He'll probably end up taking another fight.
People are saying, why don't I like Yuri? I love Yuri. Yuri's great. I just like to see people do a little more. But again, that's very UFC centric. It's true. If you just look at his overall resume, he's more than worthy of fighting for a UFC title.
Do you think UFC win 45 and 35 would be solid if they just combined them and made a 140 division? It's just not going to happen, man.
No, and honestly, I do think you can make a functional 145. Even though I've been one of the biggest critics of women's 145 for the longest time, I do think it's not as easy as people. Excuse me. I do think it's not as easy as people think to just populate a 145 division. Because if anyone has seen 145 fights in like companies outside of Bellator and outside of UFC, they're pretty rough. There's just the problem is it's in that that area where if you're in that size range, 145, 155, and you're a coordinated and athletic person, there's probably other sports that you gravitated towards as opposed to fighting. Again, there's exceptions. Kayla Harrison, obviously, Gabby Garcia, Chris Cyborg, so there is exceptions, but they're exceptional people for a reason. They are, and then why they're so dominant in their sport is because they chose MMA despite having these physical gifts. Most women with their physical gifts do end up playing other sports. So 145, unfortunately, is right in that range where if you're close to that, you're probably not pursuing MMA. But it is possible. It is possible if people are willing to accept some of the growing pains, like we saw, and frankly, like we saw early on with 125. 125, I remember the first couple of years, people did not want to watch women's 125ers at all. It didn't come out hot. Like 115 came out hot, 135 came out hot. 125, a lot of people were like, what? Like, they just didn't care for it. So it takes time to build these things. 145, a lot more difficult to build than 125. But if someone like Aspen Ladd moves up, if Macy Chiasson decided she wanted to also fight up there, though she can certainly comfortably fight at 135, it can be done, but it would require a migration of 135ers up.
You're forgetting a very important name here, AK. Mm-hmm. Because October 28th is going to be a very important date. A very important date.
Someone will be a free agent.
There's a very big free agent. And
after she's done winning another $1 million.
I think the future of that division depends on October 28th.
Sure.
So
Kayla Harrison, and by the way, for everyone who didn't know, she made 146 for fighting Invicta, so she has made the featherweight mark before. I assume she could make 145. So I'm certain she wouldn't enjoy it, but she probably can. So that is 145. I do not think is about to die. So I hope that is a possibility for Aspen Ladd if she can't sort things out at 135.
Shout out to Jimmy West for quoting Kindergarten Cop.
It's a great question. I think, Mike, I think we're done.
I think we're done.
You guys ask great questions.
There's so many.
So many great questions, but they're not done with us, Mike. They're not done with you and I.
No, you got plenty of us. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry. AK and I will be back tomorrow. For all you matchmaking fans out there, I see all the matchmaking questions. That's basically what we're going to do. So if you want your matchmaking question answered on to the next one, you can either DM AK on Twitter or Instagram. You can DM me on Instagram. And those are the best two ways to get it done.
My DMs are open, baby. Slide right in. You don't even have to follow me. If you want to follow me, awesome. You don't even have to follow me. My DMs are open to all the freaks and geeks of the MMA world. So please.
Right there.
Please.
Right there. You see it. You see the where to fall right there. Alexander K.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. I'm just going to look real quick. Oh, hold on. I wanted to pull that one up.
Let's do it. Pull it up.
Where is it? Someone wanted to hear Dana White's reaction to the main event. But yeah.
Oh, there's one question. Blake A is asking, I assume it's a troll question. Are Oliveira and Shevchenko still in the UFC strictly because their siblings are champions? I hope you're not saying that Charles Oliveira is Alex Oliveira's brother. They are not related. I'm assuming this is a joke. So Blake A, bravo.
He's joking.
Bravo for the trolling gag. No.
I'll throw that up there. Why am I throwing this up there? Because it's a falling down picture with Michael Douglas.
I might not be on the preview. I might not be on the post-fight show next weekend, so who knows?
Do you think Mackenzie Dern should get a title shot if she beats Rodriguez? I'm going to make this very simple. Absolutely not. Because Carla Esparza is next in line. And if she's not next in line, it is a travesty. A travesty of epic proportions.
Wait, this is 115. I'm sorry. For some reason, I was thinking 125. Yeah, no. No, God, no. Not over Carla Esparza. So, yes, that Mike, you answered the question perfect.
The fast food burger scene. I'm taking prices. The Diet Coke scene, the soda scene in Falling Down is tremendous. It's unbelievable. Go back, just YouTube that scene. 50 cents. He's pushing prices back to 1966 or whatever year it was. Great movie. All right, we're done. I think
All
we've
right.
talked about this enough. Godspeed, everybody. Thank you for watching. It's 10:45. You have the rest of the night ahead of you to
I'm gonna
do
go
other
out.
things.
I'm gonna go to the club.
Ghost is saying don't go. We gotta go. We gotta go. Listen,
Bye, guys.
tomorrow on to the next one. For AK, I am Mike Heck. Good night, everybody.